to the cloud. All right, my friends, welcome to the last module. I'm sad. I hope you're sad too. But you can always go back through it. Highly encourage you that you go back through this stuff because we designed this course to truly change your life. Okay. Me, in my opinion, I do feel like these last two module sections are the most important. And it's so important that you take action in a way that focuses on progress, not perfection. Okay, so get ready. We're gonna get into some good stuff. So first of all, I want to say congratulations because you've made it through phase 1. Now, phase 2 is actually going back through the information and letting it soak in. It's so important that you go back. I mean, if you're watching live, let me know. Like it over the last I would say how many we did 2 weeks in a free challenge, and then we did we were about 6 weeks in here. So over the course of 8 weeks, have you grown some? Have you grown in any area of your life? And, here at Intentional Lifestyle Creators, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're growing in your spirituality and your emotions, even your physical body, your business, your finances, your relationships. We want to make sure you're growing in each one of those areas. But as you go back through information, as you go back, you have to go back as a different person. You have to go back as a person that's grown and consumes information differently. So that's what phase 2 is. You get inundated in the homework. You get inundated in taking the particular action that it's the same action, but you're taking the same action as a different person, and that's where change happens. Okay, that's where change happens, and that's where the fun really begins, because you're going to really start making more money. You're gonna feel more satisfied, and everything's just going to really come together. Okay, so I'm going to ask you just really quick: have you been doing your homework? Have you been actually taking the time out and saying, I'm going to do this homework, even the homework that scares me? I'm going to take this time out and I'm going to do it because I deserve it. I'm worthy of it. Have you been tracking your numbers, right? Have you been actually taking the time and tracking your numbers? Because what you track gets measured. I mean, what you measured will grow. All right. If you're afraid to track, then you don't have a business. Okay. What you measure is going to grow inside of your organization, and you have to track your numbers. Okay. It's super, super important. And, I say this: as you grow as a marketer, as you grow as a person, as you grow in whatever you're doing, your tracking will evolve with your evolution. So understand that, right now you may be pen and paper, just tracking how many people you talk to. And then, at some point you may talk to so many people that you only, track the people you get on the phone with. And then at some point your system may be so good that you just track the people that go through funnels and put in their phone number. I mean, I don't know, but as you grow, your tracking should grow. Okay. Do you have a schedule with your accountability partner? We had a quick little meeting with one of the girls today, and she was like, yeah, we meet, once a week. That's great. I meet with my accountability partners once a month. However, we have a few, so it ends up being kind of a once a week thing too. So make sure that you're meeting with your accountability partner. Make sure you have an accountability partner, and most importantly, make sure that you honor each other's time. It's not a powwow. Stretch yourself and make sure that 30 minutes is spent in a productive way that's holding each other accountable for the actions that you should have taken in that week. Okay. So let's do a quick little recap. All right. So I'm going to actually log in to ILC just really quick, and we're going to do a quick little recap of just kind of like where we have come so far, right? We were talking about that Green Day song, Time of Your Life. Everybody know the Time of Your Life song. And I feel like that's kind of where we are, like we hope you've had the time of your life going through this course. And we hope you go through it at least 2 or 3 times, because this is information for some of you, you're going to need it 2 or 3 times. and it's going to sink in. And when it does sink in, you're going to have a lot of aha moments. And when those aha moments come and you mix that with good action, I'm telling you, my friends, it's going to be something serious for you. So let me show you guys around just really quick so we can do a quick little recap and get you to a place where you know what is going on. Okay, so just for the person that may have skipped around, so if you skipped here and you came to module, you came to the last module because you wanted to learn something, well, we're gonna debunk you really quick. Okay, so if you see here courses and you go to your full-time formula course, make sure that if you feel as if the foundation isn't quite there yet, if you feel like your foundation just isn't quite there yet, make sure that you've gone through these 8 videos, okay? Depending on where you are in your life and your business, you may need these videos more than the next person, and some of you may just not. I mean, we've gone through, we know this stuff like the back of our hand. We have people that know this stuff like the back of their hand, so it wouldn't really tell them to go, hey, do this every day. But we went through closing, we went through lead generation, we went through how to communicate, how to talk to people. We actually have a bonus coming for that, so be on the lookout for that. Really good bonus there. We went through branding on Facebook. We went through building culture, and really we're going to wrap that up tonight, and we may have some bonuses for you that are on the way too. So be sure to look out. Now, in my opinion, I think these are the top three modules in this course. Okay, with building culture, with Larry and Taylor Thompson, they made over $100 million and more in network marketing. Lisa Grossman's made over like 30 million. Austin Zuloff has been a top earner in 3 different companies, multiple 7-figure earner. Okay, so this is just a little bit of a recap. My suggestion is go back to the modules that serve. If you've gone through all of them and you feel like you just need a little closing help, you should know where to go. You should just go here, and they're divided up into little 30-minute sections, so they're easily consumable if you're diligent enough and if you just take the time out and do it. Everybody cool with that? All right. Did everyone like how we divided this up and into like little 30-minute chunks? I mean, we wanted this to be one of the most consumable courses that you could ever go through. And one of the reasons that people don't go through courses is because, they're like, sometimes they're an hour and a half long per module, so no one ever gets through it. But we knew that if we could just knock this thing out in 30-minute chunks, gives you a better chance of actually going through it, okay? So our intention tonight, here's what we want you to get out of tonight. We want you to have an understanding of what the most valuable asset that you could possibly have online is, and that is your community. Okay, it's your online community, and the community that you build online is your baby. It's your money. You should protect it. I mean, and protecting your community is loving your community. That's what protecting your community is. And loving your community is doing anything and everything to make sure that they succeed and they love life and they grow every single day. Pop a number 1 if that makes sense in the comment section, because I feel like that's kind of overlooked, and you protect your people through anything. We protect our people, and you protect them like you're a parent. And the best way for a parent to protect their child is to love it unconditionally. So before we get into that, and before we really tackle community, again, this is what we're going to be covering tonight. Okay, we're going to be covering taprooting. We're going to be covering creating communities, the different types of communities, growing your community, challenges to grow your community, and some outsourcing tips. Okay. So that's what we're going to be diving into tonight. What you should have done so far. Okay, so the only person that knows if you've done this is either your accountability partner and Jesus. So if Jesus is giving you the thumbs up and he's saying, well done, bro, because you actually went out and created a community name, you created your community vision statement, and you know the result that your community provides, okay? And one of my intentions for tonight, and I may even repeat this, but I want you to know, some of you are in a place right now where like the team you're on has an awesome community, okay? Some of you are you're like on an island right now on your team, and you may be using this training to go out and like build a community from the ground up. Sometimes you're going to go out there and you're going to have to make a free community. Sometimes you're going to have to just create a community for your paid members or your team members or even your customers. I want everyone to understand that I truly believe that no matter what communities you already have or already have access to or whatever, I truly believe that everyone should have like a free community that they kind of pull from. It's like their hub. Okay. Does that make sense? Before I move on, I want to make sure that makes sense to everybody. Okay. So no matter what, I want you to understand that I truly believe that everyone should have their own, like, this is the community that I stand for. This is the problem that we solve. And this is what we have going on, no matter what you have access to in your teams or, whatever. Okay. So I just want that to make sense. Does that make sense to everybody? Pop a number 2 if that makes sense, because I definitely want to make sure that before I move on, you get that, because there's communities and sub-communities, and I just want you to understand at the end, through this training, I want you to have a good understanding of which one that you need to go out and create, okay? So before we get into that, I got a lot of feedback and wanted to cover taprooting a little more in depth than we have, because one, I think it's a skill that's not taught enough, okay? And two, I just think that I was taught taprooting by some of the best in network marketing. I just want to share what I was taught with taprooting, okay? Because you're in a place right now maybe where maybe you haven't recruited a bunch of people, okay? Maybe you're going through this information and you're getting it, right? But maybe it just hasn't converted yet, right? Maybe you just haven't like recruited a bunch of people yet. And we will always push people back to Recruiting Series Pro. Really probably one of the best recruiting courses in the market. But maybe you're just not, recruiting people yet. Maybe you are recruiting people, but you're not driving depth, okay? So we want to share what taprooting really is. And when people enroll in your network marketing company, they're going to enroll for one of two things. So let's go down here and get our pen out. All right. So people can either enroll for money. So if someone enrolls in our network marketing company, we make $250. Okay. Now, in taprooting, we enroll people for their network. Okay. We enroll people for who they know, their phone. We enroll people for their influence, okay? That's what taprooting is, okay? It's basically saying, okay, how can I get past someone and create a lot of momentum in my organization? So let's just say, so let's see who's on tonight. So we'll use Rhonda as an example tonight, all right? So let me put here. And we're going to use Rhonda as our example. So I just enrolled Rhonda, okay? So I need to understand some principles about, typically how people work, okay? So I just enrolled Rhonda, okay? And my goal is usually my goal used to be to go wide, okay? How many people can I recruit? Okay, so after I recruit Rhonda, I would say, okay, who's the next person I'm going to go out and recruit? Instead of making sure that Rhonda got her first person, okay? No matter what, I've got to get into Rhonda's network, okay? And, how we do that is I got to make sure that I get inside of Rhonda's phone. I got to make sure to get in front of who Rhonda knows right now. And most of the time, we're going to say Rhonda is Rhonda's a 6. Okay. So most of the time what happens is if I say, hey, Rhonda, hey, let's do a launch call, or let's do something. Who can you get me in front of right now? Who's your chicken list? Rhonda's thinking, okay, I don't want to get, I don't want to, be told no. I don't want to be discouraged. I don't want to do this or this. So on a scale to 1 to 10, okay, of influence, Rhonda's usually probably going to give me everybody that's either a 6 or a 5 or below, okay? And we want to recruit up, okay? So if I'm able to get in front of Rhonda's 7, 8, 9, or 10, okay, and let's just say Bill enrolls and he's a 7, okay, what that's going to do is now I can go work with Bill, okay? I want to make sure Rhonda gets plugged into the system, but I want to go 1 deep, okay? If you can get 1 deep, you can create a lot of depth in an organization and you can create a lot of momentum, because now Rhonda should know how to launch, okay? One thing that we used to do with people is sometimes we used to actually do a few phone calls with a person. So I pull Rhonda aside and say, hey, Rhonda, let's do 3 phone calls together just so you know how they're done. We'll invite some people together. And, once you feel comfortable inviting, okay, because that's the main thing. Most people just don't feel comfortable inviting. So if I can teach Rhonda how to invite and I can get in front of Bill myself, I'm going to treat Bill like I personally enrolled him. And we're going to then do the same thing, and once he gets 1, we're going to go with Mary. Now, this isn't a perfect world, okay? I'm not going to sit around and just wait for Rhonda, to get in front of her crew. But again, you've just got to work your organization and work the people that that you believe they have a good network, okay? And you just have to use your judgment, all right? But here's the deal. Once you get to the 4th level, all right, so this is the 4th level here, and we'll call him Bob. This is where you'll typically find a runner, okay? So our goal is to get 4 levels deep, okay? Because if you can get 4 levels deep and then move to the next 4 levels, so we'll go all the way down to level 8, okay? What's going to happen is this person is typically going to be a runner. That's going to be the person that you just tell them what to do. They're going to probably be on your ass more than you're on their ass, and they're going to be moving and shaking, okay? What happens is volume flows up through here, and even if Rhonda didn't want to go to work, we got to understand that most of the people on our front line don't want to work, okay? So if I want volume to flow up, I want momentum to flow up, and I want to give Mary, Bill, and Rhonda a reason to work, okay? Because if there's 100,000 volume down here that they really can't get to, or they need to unlock something on this side or whatever, however your comp plan works, this volume will make Mary work. Hey, Mary, want to give you a call. Didn't know if you knew, but Bob is absolutely crushing it. But you got like $100,000 of volume under you, and all you need is like 2 people. And then I'm going to get their goals. So then I'm going to say, hey, I'm not sure if you really want to work the business or not. I don't really care if you are. I mean, it's up to you. However, I'd love to unlock some of that money for you. So, here's some ways that I may help you do it. I could do a Zoom call for you if you want to connect me with some people or whatever. And then now I'm tap rooting even more. I'm going to pause really quick. Does this help anybody, or is this making sense so far? So I'm going to move this over here. So the more I hear this, the more it makes sense. Thanks for doing this again. No problem. No problem at all. Okay. So the goal, guys, is to, if you can drive deep, what's going to happen with the width? Okay. So again, if there's depth and then Mary says, oh, okay, well, Mary's going to start going wide. Correct? Is Mary, am I right or wrong? Right? If Mary sees a reason to work, because more people will do more work in an effort to not lose something in order to gain something. Okay, so more people want to, they want to do more. They'll actually go to work if they're afraid they're going to lose something. We've actually created a fear of loss here. Okay, so we have to start treating. We want to get to Bob and then start treating that person like they're a personal recruit. A lot of times, guys, when you because your personal recruits aren't going to make you money. most of the time. Okay. When you see that happen, a lot of times either they're already like in network marketing, they're already a leader. And we'll say that this person's an 8 and then this person's a 10, that though we can follow our diagram here. But, a lot of times when your frontline people make you money, either they're already a leadership, chances are they've already had some play in network marketing, either they're, a 10 already, or, a lot of times, like if you like move to a different project and like now, like, Bob's the one that you enroll because, you have a really good relationship with Bob and, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? So, we see a lot of that. This is, obviously the diagram if you're really actively building a network marketing business. However, I truly believe that even if you're doing something like affiliate marketing you can still drive depth. You're not going to get paid on your depth. So I would be careful with your time, but understand that this is where the work is. Okay. This is where the work is. And then you've got all the volume rolling up. Okay. And people will go wide to cash in on that. Okay. All right. So that's tap rooting in a nutshell. Okay. A little quick version of what your activity should be. Okay. And what I want to do is I just want to get in front of people. You can do those. You can get in front of people with like launch calls. Okay. Like we do launch Zoom calls that we try to get at least 5 to 20 people on. Okay. And we just look to help our people launch. And then same thing when they go wide, we want to create a culture, which is what we're about to talk about. We want to create a culture of launching. We want to create a culture of depth and understanding what these people's goals are, what their desires are, because that's where you have your leverage. Okay. You don't have leverage on anybody because you have their money. You have leverage when you have their goals, their wants, their needs, and desires. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And again, hopefully you can look and see, look around your organization and just kind of see where you can connect with someone, where you can get into their phone, you can get into their network, and you can dive a little deep. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right. So is it cool if I go ahead and erase this and we move on? Everybody good? Before I move on, does anybody have any like questions that I may answer just about taprooting before I move on? Do you feel like just from here, because you may not master taprooting from this little training, but at least my intention is that you at least feel like way better than you came. Nobody? Anybody? Nobody feels good? Does anybody feel good? Everybody feel good? All right, good. All right. Angela's good, Candace is good, but everybody else is still kind of on the fence when it comes to taprooting. I get it. It's cool. Not something that you're going to get overnight, but the point is to do your best to drive depth. Okay. Remember, you get paid off someone's network. Okay. Don't spend so much time, running to the bank and thinking because, at the end of the day, like I've been a top recruiter in a company before, guys, and I wasn't the number one income earner. You rarely ever see that. Usually number one recruiters aren't number one income earners. And there's a reason for that. Okay. And you just saw it. All right. So let's keep it rocking. And before we dive into culture, okay, I just want to understand, there's a book called Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And I just want you to start thinking a little differently before we dive into culture. Okay. You got to start thinking with leverage in everything that you do. Okay. I want you to ask yourself a really big question. If you had a team of 100,000 people, okay, all of a sudden, I don't know how big your team is when you're watching this, but if you had a team of 100,000 people, would you do everything that you do now? Okay. And not just on a surface level. I'm asking from a place where would you take that phone call from every rep? Would you answer every question? Would you hop on the phone all the time? Would you, all the little things that aren't really duplicatable? Would you answer every question? You know what I mean? Would you just like be, the busy bee that caters to, 20 people, and you're just like, okay, I got to run around. I got to help all these people. I'm busy bee. I'm busy bee, but all of a sudden, if you added, 4 zeros to that 20 people, and you've got 20,000 people or whatever, 200,000 people, you couldn't handle it. So I want you to start looking at the way you build your business, the way you, go around in your organization. Are you doing things that you could honestly say, yes, this would work and this would continue to grow my organization from 100,000 to 1 million or 500,000? And we have to start thinking like that in every area of our life. Okay. So if we're thinking like we already have a big team, then we can think how our community will thrive when we start to build our communities, okay? And you've got to start thinking in terms of, again, leverage. So you see on our chart to the right, we're talking about linear income versus residual income. And a lot of us, even in a network marketing company, we're still making linear income, because all we have now, most of us have a job, and then we own our network marketing job, and that's not fun. So we have to be doing things in a duplicatable way, everything that we do. Okay. Every time we hop on the phone, we record it. Every time there's someone that has a question, if the answer is not in video form, then we'll make a video and we'll send it to them. And we'll keep an archive, or connect with leaders in your company. Talk to them about, hey, we could have some more leverage here. I do think we could have more leverage here. Always thinking leverage, because even with like tap rooting is about having your voice heard 4 levels deep, 8 levels deep. And if you can go 8 levels deep in 3 different legs, you will make a multiple 6-figure income. Okay. You ask anybody that understands any type, it does depend on the comp plan, but I'm telling you, most comp plans, if you can go 4 levels deep and then do the same thing and go 8 levels deep in 3 different legs, you will create probably a multiple 6-figure income, especially if you can, get those people to an event. And that's a done deal. Okay. But the only way you do that is by thinking like a business owner. Okay. And business owners own the system. They aren't the system, they own the system. They're the person outside of the system, not operating the system. They own the system. You can plug in leaders in certain communities. If you teach to teach, you can go to the beach. Okay. So that all that means is if you teach people to teach other people in a way that they can teach other people, then the tradition of teaching and training and support will trickle down your organization. And as long as then, if it's recorded in a way that people are always pointing back to that thing, people are always pointing back to that tool, then how could success, not find everybody? Okay. Does that make sense? Can I get a yes if that makes sense in the comment section? I want to make sure you're still with me. All right. So you still with me here? Okay. Ask yourself, make a list. What wastes my time? Okay. What wastes my time? If you start caring more about your time and the time of your teammates, of your clients, whoever they are, you're going to create more freedom for yourself, and you're teaching them to create freedom for themselves. And that's really what being an intentional lifestyle creator is all about. It's designing your life in a way of freedom financially and time-wise, in a way that all you're doing is showing other people how to manage their lives and create residual income and residual time. So again, I would rather earn 1% off 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. Okay, live by that. and don't end up, and we're gonna share with you how to create a community and do some cool things. It's your job to take action on it, okay? But at the end of the day, we don't want you to build a business that that you hate. You know, you won't, and we don't want you to build it in a way that you would hate it either. You know, I heard someone say this, and I absolutely love it. You'll never build your business doing things that you hate. Okay, so if you hate, you know, Twitter, you're not going to build a business that way. Okay, pop number 3, if that makes sense. You're not going to build a business that you'll love doing things that you hate. Okay, so so I know people that, you know, make $200,000 a year in the network marketing company. All they do is take orders. They're in the S quadrant. They're self-employed. Most people in network marketing are self-employed. But if you can start thinking like a business owner, and and the culture training that we're about to get into is going to show you how to do that. All right. So 1 second, and we'll get right into